just totally fine. Yes. That's what she needs to do this weekend. She needs to go to Barnes & Noble. She needs to buy this. I've got you and it used to be called
Really?
Perk test just came in the
Yeah, that's what I was
Here at Florida Atlantic University for Gabriella's graduation. Jerry.
Ma'am, I'm diabetic.
Okay, I understand that I'm diabetic.
Yes.
I still can't have the soda in here.
Okay.
So you can either put it away or take it out. Okay?
So every time that I take a sip, you'd like me to stand up and have everybody move so I can go take a sip?
That's exactly right.
Okay.
You cannot have the soda.
Okay. Yeah. Oh, I'm so scared. Thanks.
Gabrielle's parents and their controversial friend with the soda. This is a lovely graduation.
Did you get this one too?
Awesome.
Good evening, parents, guardians, friends, and family of G-Star. Welcome to the 2012 G-Star School of the Arts Commencement.
name is Greg Hoffner. I am the CEO and founder of the school. And it's a great pleasure, honor, and delight to be here once again for our 9th year, which is pretty amazing. Yeah, you've got it, 9 years. It seemed like just yesterday we all got together. I think it was was there 10 of us? Or was there 7? 7, excuse me. We started with 7 teachers and administrators, 150 kids, and that was in 2003. Here we are today with a tremendous graduating class, tons of folks. We had to move to a bigger auditorium just to get everybody in, and 9 years later, we're just very pleased with all the things that have happened over this period of time. G-Star, as some of you may know, is the largest film, digital media production, and acting high school in the nation. It's the only high school in the world that's located on the back lot of a major motion picture studio. We have a sound stage, bless you, that is technologically the most advanced one in the entire world. Copy of Warner Brothers, except it's newer. We have new programs this year. We started a IB program, International Baccalaureate. And G-Star is the only International Baccalaureate charter school in the state of Florida.
Wow.
Pretty cool, huh? Like that. We also began a digital imaging career path. Our goal is to become the #1 digital imaging, 3D animation, and gaming high school in the world. We are partnering with a company, well, and also a college, but FSU, Florida State University, and Digital Domain Institute. Digital Domain has 8 Academy Awards. They work on digital imaging for all the Transformers movies. They do Pirates of the Caribbean, Tron. As a matter of fact, I was at the Avengers the other night, and there was Digital Domain and some of the work on that. And they do it right here in our neighborhood. They're actually building a gigantic building 9 minutes away from G-Star. Their faculty from FSU and Digital Domain Institute have been in working with our faculty, and we have created this career path into their program. They will be at our soundstage all summer in there doing classes on motion capture and digital imaging, which is really exciting also. This last week, Celine Dion came back once again. She has a new album coming out, 2 of them actually, so she was in doing photography and shooting for that also. And we've had a number of stars of all types, a lot of recording people, a lot of motion picture people come in and shoot films and do music videos and even rehearsals. So it's been quite an adventurous year for us. Last year, we were named the #1 high school for film in the world. Yeah, I like that one too. By the Raindance Film Festival, the largest independent film festival in Europe. And they were so impressed with the body of work that the G-Star students did, and we brought over 13 films. And they only saw a quality level at college level and into professional level. And they declared us the #1 high school for film in the world, and they have never done that before or since. And that is ours to keep, I believe, forever. Many people have asked me about G-Star and where did the name come from. So I'm about to embarrass him terribly, but it's named after my son Gregory. Would you stand up? I just ruined his life. life. That's the advantage you get when you start something from scratch. You get to name it what you like, and Gregory was it, so I was very proud of that. There you go. So, where do we go from here? What does the future hold? Well, there's quite a lot in store for all of you students sitting out there graduating tonight. Many of your brothers and sisters are out there that some are in school already and will be graduating soon themselves. And it's a big world, and we believe you're going to be prepared for it because you're great kids. But we meet special people along the way, and one of them is here tonight. His name is Stuart Manischel. Stuart is one of the top agents in Hollywood. Now, if you know anything about the film business, the first thing you do if you're an actor is you got to get yourself an agent. You got to find an agent. Well, they're not easy to find. They sort of live in a rarefied air, especially if you're going to find one that's really good. Well, I believe Stuart is a good one. Let me read you a list of a couple of his clients. By the way, he has over 50. He has 8 Academy Award winners. And here they are. Natalie Portman, Robert De Niro, Hilary Swank, Sean Penn, Tommy Lee Jones, Benicio del Toro, Oliver Stone, and Ed Zwick, who was the producer of Shakespeare in Love and The Last Samurai. In addition, folks that didn't capture the Academy Award, we have Christopher Nolan, who was nominated for 3 Oscars, the director of Dark Knight and Inception. Lawrence Kasdan, nominated for 3 Oscars. He was the writer of Star Wars Episode 5 and 6 and Raiders of the Lost Ark. James Patterson, the writer of Kiss the Girls and Along Came a Spider. And Paul Thomas Anderson, 5 Oscar nominations, writer and director of There Will Be Blood. This gentleman flew all the way from Hollywood all night. He has not slept. And we are very proud and honored as our guest speaker tonight to have with us Mr. Stuart Manischel.
Thanks so much. It's great to be here. Thank you so much for having me. I got to know Greg a little bit through a good friend of mine, and they asked me to be here. So when I heard about what the school was doing and training people to understand getting in the movie business, that was really exciting to me and I think really unique. So I commend every one of you for doing this and being here today, and I feel really privileged to be here. So thank you for having me. Let me start by saying, first of all, I have a horrible fear of public speaking, so I apologize for that. And secondly, I did come in on a red eye, so I will do my best to kind of talk about a little bit about what my life has been and experience in getting into the movie business, and hopefully not bore too many of you, and give you some of the select few lessons I've learned over the years. And I think if you can come away with 1 or 2 pieces of advice, hopefully I'll consider it a success, and if not, then you can just take a nap while I'm speaking. But let me start by saying I work at the Creative Artists Agency. We are the biggest agency in Hollywood, and I've had the privilege to work with a lot of accomplished people, Oscar winners, non-Oscar winners. I don't really remember the winners. I usually remember when I lose, part of being an agent. But it didn't start that way. I was born in West Long Branch, New Jersey. And for those of you who don't know it, that's the Jersey Shore. Recently it's gotten very famous, but when I was a kid, kid, it was just a boring place to grow up. When I don't think there was a situation there when I was young. But really the defining point in my childhood happened when I was 7 years old. I come from a lower middle class Jewish family from Long Branch. My father was a worker, and my mom was a stay-at-home mom. And we went out and made for pizza, and I got extremely sick off the pizza, and I started having hives. Luckily, my father was studying to become a doctor, and they took me to the hospital, and they gave me a shot of penicillin, not knowing whether I was allergic to penicillin or not. Not a good practice if you want to be a physician, but regardless of that, I went home and I immediately busted into incredible hives. And luckily, my father, who was studying to be a doctor, had a kit full of insulin and punched insulin into my lungs and saved my life. After that, I spent a week in the hospital, but I did survive that episode, and that was sort of a really important episode for me because from a very, kind of early age, I realized that life is really fragile, and we're all kind of living on borrowed time, and you're not, whatever you have today may not be there tomorrow. I know those are all cliches, but I kind of, from an early age, experienced that. So when I was 17 years old, I applied to go to UCLA, which was a weird thing because my whole family was on the East Coast. My dad had stayed on the East Coast. My mom was from the Bronx. And, but I had heard in LA, a lot of people said, well, do you want to get in the movie business? And I said, well, I don't even know what the movie business is, but I heard that Los Angeles girls like nerdy Jewish guys. So I get out there as soon as possible. So I applied to UCLA and got in and made the trek in my mom's 1992 Acura Integra, which, by the way, she didn't really even give me a good deal on in retrospect, but, I drove out to Los Angeles and I started my journey in Hollywood. And from there, I lived at UCLA. I lived, typical story, shared a dorm room, lived on the floor, was living off $2 a day. But when I was at UCLA at the time, I was very fortunate because if you have what was called a Bruin card, UCLA Bruin card, you could get in to see movies for $1. And UCLA had an amazing archive. And because it was in LA, you have all kinds of famous directors and writers and, really important people who would come present old movies, talk about movies. And it was kind of became my only form of entertainment. I remember, like everybody, having a nostalgic relationship with those movies you grew up loving, but it sort of gave me a new appreciation for movies, especially the old movies, whether it be the Marx Brothers to the French New Wave to Italian neo-realist movies to, of course, classic Hollywood movies. And I kind of fell in love with it. So when I graduated, and I graduated pretty young, I was 21, and I kind of felt like my only choice in life was to do something in movies. And I went around and I saw movies, and I said, well, I see these movies. I mean, anybody can write this stuff, right? I mean, it's just all junk. And I was kind of quite naive and pretty arrogant about it in a naive way. So I went to a friend of mine and said, well, if you really want to work in movies, the best way to work in movies is to get a job at an agency. Because an agency is where everything flows. And it's the center of the business. It's where the studios come to find talent. It's where they come to find the actors. It's where they go to find the scripts. And agents kind of control the talent. And they're kind of the people who broker it and put the movies together and negotiate the deals with the studios. And that's where you can learn the business. So that's really how I got my start in the movie business. And I got a job at a competitor, not CA, another big agency called UTA. And they paid me $200 a month, $200 a week, I'm sorry, to $200 a month. Felt like $200 a month. $200 a week to basically push around the cart and deliver the mail and, the grunt work of the agency. So that's how I got my start. And, I have fond memories of those times. I mean, I didn't come from any money, so for me, whether it be, I remember, the first job that I ever had, my job at, my boss at the time was representing Jennifer Lopez, and my first job was to find a Chihuahua for her birthday. So I literally had to actually go to Canada, where, and maybe many of you don't know this, but most Chihuahua breeders are in Canada. So I had to go to Canada and interview all the various Chihuahua breeders to find the best Chihuahuas. And after I had done this, and this had been about a 3 or 4 week experiment, several hours a day, I picked the perfect Chihuahua, and she fired us that day. So it was kind of a rough moment. But it was still fun, and I enjoyed it nonetheless. During all that time, I never really had any expectations. I was surrounded with lots of people making lots of money and seemed to be involved in lots of big things, but I never really, I guess one of the lessons and advantages I had is I never really thought of what I was doing as a job. I just was excited to be around these people who were doing things that seemed cool. They were working on movies. They were around interesting people who inspired others. And frankly, they kind of inspired me. And I didn't really have a certain expectation of where my life would lead me. My parents never made 6 figures, nor my family had a Mercedes, never took a vacation. And I was surrounded by all these people who had everything. They even ate raw fish, and they were eating raw fish, and they ate it a lot. And it was really expensive. Finally, after a few years, I got my wannabe producers, directors, other positions, studio heads. There's an entire chapter in that book called Jeremy's Kids, which is a great chapter. Finally, he said, you know what? I don't really like you very much, but I'm going to give you a chance to prove me wrong. So he promoted me, and he signed me into a fact that incredibly good looking. Other than the fact that I knew a lot about movies and I could talk about scripts, I had no right to be in that meeting. And then somebody said to me, well, you know what, Stuart? You have as much right to be in that meeting as anybody else. You are just as smart as anybody in that meeting. And if you walk into that meeting and let go of that fear and that fear of failure in that meeting, and I was in that meeting with other agents who were a big deal and represented big clients and were much more important people than I was at the time, at least you'll feel good about how you performed in that meeting. So I went into that meeting kind of with I have a nothing to lose attitude. It's almost like, to use a sports analogy, you're down 30 points at halftime, so who cares, right? And I went into that meeting and I let go of all my anxiety, and I said and I spoke and I was aggressive, and I really connected with Rachel McAdams in a big way. One would say romantic now. I wish, but not really. Truth be told, we connected on a creative level, and so much so that after the meeting, she said she was signing with UTA because of me, basically, for our connection in the meeting and a lot of the projects I had spoken about. And that was the first time I kind of realized that, hey, you know, if you just let go of expectations, whatever those expectations other people have of you, whatever the fear of failure or the notion that somebody may be better than you because they have a bigger resume, it doesn't mean they know more than you. It doesn't mean that they're more valid than you are. And that really changed, that moment changed my career completely. Because when in Hollywood people had heard Rachel McAdams had signed with this guy that nobody had ever heard of, some young agent at UTA, everybody in town suddenly knew who I was, and I became an important agent overnight. So that was really important in terms of changing my career. So if there's anything I can take from that and impart on you is, just because you're young, just because you're new, doesn't mean somebody who's been doing it for 20 years knows more. Doesn't mean that you shouldn't express yourself. It doesn't mean you should be stupid, but it also doesn't mean that you can't let go and feel like, hey, I can do it too, and I have something to contribute, and I have something to say. That was an important lesson. Then, subsequently, a lot of things happened. I signed some other people, I had some successes. Then CAA came calling and tried to hire me. CAA is for those of you who know the agency business, it's the biggest agency. We represent everybody from Will Smith to Tom Cruise to Steven Spielberg to athletes like LeBron James and Peyton Manning. I mean, we are the kind of definitive agency in the agency business. And all of that is because of me. No. All that is because, but it is kind of the most important, it's the kind of the Yankees of the agency business. So they started calling me and saying, well, God, we really want you to come over. We'll pay you whatever you need to get paid. We'll do this, we'll do that. And I was very resistant to it because I was always nervous about working at a big company. I was always kind of an iconoclast. I always wanted to be the guy kind of on the outside. I never wanted to be the guy on the inside. I was never the popular kid. I was never in the clique. And to me, it just felt like not the right thing to do. But it's funny how the right amount of money can help you change your mind. It can be a powerful, convincing moment. No, but the reality was I spoke to all my friends. Everybody said, well, if you want to be an agent and you want to be doing this at the highest levels, you really should go and work at CA. So I took a job at CA, and that was 5 years ago last week. And it's been great. And while I've been at CAA, and don't worry, I'm getting to the end of my rant here, so sorry. I look back at my last 5 years at CAA, which have been great. I've been part of a lot of movies there. I worked on The Hurt Locker. I worked on all of Oliver Stone's movies, including Savages, which comes out in 3 weeks, so please go see it. A number of big movies, all the Christopher Nolan movies, Paul Thomas Anderson's movies, a lot of those people we talked about. I've had the chance to talk to people, one day it dawned on me on a Saturday morning, I'm on the phone with Robert De Niro, and I'm saying to myself, well, I grew up watching Robert De Niro movies, and now I'm actually talking to this guy, and that was pretty cool. Until he started yelling at me. No, but it was very very cool, and you sometimes lose perspective of these things. But just the last kind of tidbit I want to talk about is during the last 3 years, I had a very special relationship I formed, and that was with a producer who I represent named Al Ruddy. And I'm sure if I said the name Al Ruddy in this room, not a single person would know who he is. But
I do.
Al Ruddy's probably the greatest living movie producer still alive. Al Ruddy produced The Godfather, he produced $1 Million Baby, he produced Hogan's Heroes, Cannonball Run, on and on and on. And is an 80-year-old man and will outwork me and probably anyone else in this room today. And Al and I start to get very close, almost in a kind of father-son relationship sort of way, where I was helping him with his projects and he was giving me advice about my career, because that's another lesson, seeking out a mentor, somebody who knows more than you and can give you advice as you go through this business, which, let me tell you, can be really tough. It is really important. But Al left me with sort of 3 important lessons that I'd like to share with you, and then I'll leave you all alone. The first is, you know, when Al was hired to do The Godfather, the studio never wanted to make The Godfather. They hired him because they wanted to make the movie for $6 million, and he was the only guy who could bring in a movie for budget. They didn't want to hire Al Pacino. They thought he was too short. Marlon Brando's career was over. They didn't want any of those people. Francis Ford Coppola was a writer. Nobody, you know, he had directed a couple small movies. Nobody really wanted him. And it was a movie that was sort of underneath the radar. And one of the things that Al has taught after that $1 Million Baby he had for 30 years before he got that movie made. At one time, it was going to be Sandy Bullock before it became Hilary Swank. It was a different director before Clint Eastwood got it. And one of the things that Al taught me in life is, whether it be an actor who says no to you, a director says no to you, a girlfriend who says no to you, and I know in my case that's happened a lot, boyfriend, whatever it is, it's their loss. They lost. When that actor says no, that actor's lost the role of a lifetime. When that director says no, they've lost their Academy Award. When that person is rejecting you, it's not. It doesn't define who you are. It defines who they are. And the reality is, there's a lot of reasons why people say no. You know, who knows? Things are going on in their life, or whatever it may be, or maybe they're stupid, or who knows? But if you view it that way, however it was supposed to go down is how it's going to go down. And as long as you have that kind of belief in yourself, and that belief that this is meant to be in this way, it'll all work out. And that was a really important lesson for me, because in my job, and in your future jobs, and I don't care what you guys do, you're going to hear no a lot. I promise you, if you don't already. And if you let that get to you, and you don't push through it, it's going to be really hard. So that was the first lesson. I still have a girlfriend, but that was a good lesson. The second thing he told me was to simplify. And this is something I really believe in. You know, great stories, great things are simple. You know, I think we all like to complicate our lives, but whether you look at the great movies, the great television shows, the great stories that are told throughout the history of time, the majority of them are really simple stories. They're not convoluted. They're simple. So
sort of like yours is now.
About fathers and sons, and the father who wants something better for his son, and the son not being able to escape who they are. $1 Million Baby is a story of a...
He can't help it, he lives in Hollywood.
Finds redemption through this daughter who's a fantastic boxer. As you work on stories and as you work on things, try to get to the essence of what they are. Because we all try to complicate things in our life. It's not that difficult. Movies, life, things are simple. Relationships, whatever. We all convolute it with all sorts of nonsense. So really try to get to the crux of what is the story you want to tell, what is this about, and why does it matter? And I think that's a really important lesson because we can all get caught up in all sorts of other stuff that doesn't really matter. And then the final thing I learned, and I learned this when he and I were going to make a movie called Cry Macho, which was going to be Arnold Schwarzenegger's comeback movie right after being governor of California. I'm glad somebody's still a fan now. But this was going to be his return movie right after he stepped down from governor of California. And Al and I had worked on it for 6 months. It was a story that Al had been sitting on for 30 years. Clint Eastwood at one time had wanted to direct it. Arnold desperately wanted to do it. And I know Arnold a little bit, and I actually really like him a lot. We had spent 6 months putting together the financing for this movie, and I went to the Cannes Film Festival, and I raised $30 million to go make the movie. I get on the plane back to come to LA, which is the best time for an agent, because it's the only time when nobody can really reach you, and that's fantastic, by the way. I highly recommend it. And I land, and I get an email from the Wrap, or one of those sites, that says, well, we all know Arnold Schwarzenegger as an illegitimate, whatever. And what wound up happening, so our 6 months of hard work in my life for 6 months went down the tubes because Arnold Schwarzenegger was going to have to go deal with his divorce. He's going to have to go deal with his personal life, and he was going to withdraw from our movie, which was both our dream and passion project. I call Al up, and tears are streaming through my eyes, and I'm so upset. And I hear a pause on the phone, and Al just starts laughing hysterically. And I said, well, this guy
sort of like I am now.
Completely crazy, or I'm missing something. And he said, yeah. This really, this sucks. But we'll move on. We'll find somebody else. And we just have to laugh about it. Because we had each other and we had a good time. So the final lesson is, you have to laugh. Don't take it all so seriously. Whatever you do, you're going to have failures, you're going to have successes. If you have failures, at least let them be your own, not failures that you were listening to somebody else, but at least you remember your gut and fail. That feels a lot better than when somebody else tells you to do something and you fail. And have a good time. We're making movies. It's fun. There's going to be some good times and some bad times. Sometimes you remember the bad times more fondly than the good times. And as you jump into your careers, I think that's the most important thing you can always remember. So thank you very much for having me.
Each year, the Palm Beach Post honors South Florida's best and brightest students with the Pathfinder Awards. And each year, G-Star's arts and academic requirements nominate students to be recognized as Pathfinders. Students are selected for their outstanding abilities in their respective subject areas, excellence in their overall academic achievement, and their exemplary character. I will now present G-Star Class of 2012 Pathfinders. Please stand and be recognized as I read your names and remain standing until all of G-Star's Pathfinders have been introduced. For academic excellence, Vincent Soretta. For drama, Mia Benjamin. This year's Pathfinder Award winner for drama. For community involvement, Heaven Long. For musical vocals, Caitlin McFeely. Communications, Drew Perlmutter. History, Political Science, Michelle Martin. Literature, Kaylee Stokes. Music, Instrumental, Mariah Tedesco. Mathematics, Huertas Billy. Science, Jamie Waker. Sports, Aileen G. Matthews. And for art, Catherine Barnett. Congratulations to G-Star's class of 2012 Pathfinder. It's now my privilege to present G-Star's top 10 students. These students have earned their standing at the top of G-Star's class of 2012 through the intellectual curiosity and desire to learn that drives the dedication to their studies and the perseverance required to achieve and maintain their rank in the top 10. I will now present the top 10. Please stand and be recognized as I read your names and remain standing until all of the class of 2012 top 10 have been introduced. Number 10, Drew Perlmutter. Number 9, Jessica O'Grady. Number 8, Brianna Ayub. Number 7, Elena Walton. Number 6, Brittany Davis. Number 5, Michelle Martin. Number 4, Catherine Barnett. Number 3, Jamie Waker. Now I'd like to ask Ms. Collins to come up and introduce our salutatorian.
Think of high-level classes with hours and hours of studying, which of course is true. However, I'm not sure you would also believe that this person has time to have not only a 4.64 GPA, but she also finds time to be vice president of the Thespian Club. She won the Critics' Choice in 2 events at district competition for monologues and publicity design. She received first place Pathfinders Award for drama and will attend the University of the Arts in Philadelphia in the fall. that day and what you were thinking about that day. She's always helping others, and she's always a joy to speak with. And she takes time to listen to her peers and be there for them. It is with my pleasure and pride to present our salutatorian, Mia Benjamin.
Thank you, Ms. Collins. Good evening, fellow classmates, proud parents, esteemed faculty, and guests. It's been 4 years. In 4 years' time, we've seen the death of the king of pop, the devastation of the country Haiti due to an earthquake, and the fall of the stock market. We've seen Japan almost leveled by a tsunami, the Libyan civil war, and an end to the print version of the Encyclopedia Britannica. All this and so much more in the span of 4 years. But many of us have been relatively blind to these events. They've played like background noise in our lives. For 4 years, we focused on one goal, getting here, to this very moment. We've trudged into unknown waters, and now we've reached the shore. And as I look upon the faces of each and every one of you, I applaud you for getting this far. Because while we haven't faced an actual earthquake, tsunami, or a civil war, high school sure can feel like something much more serious. As we are just moments away from receiving one of the most important pieces of paper in our lives, second only to our birth certificates, let us remember how we got here. Through halls washed in white, hopeful light, in classrooms that will never be big enough for our potential, on school buses that were as rickety as our disposition, we've grown into the people who are now dressed in these robes. These robes mean more than just an accessory worn over the outfits bought for this very occasion. They are the summation of every day, hour, and minute spent in the halls of G-Star. They are the sum total of our high school experience. And as we all wear the same robe, we must all celebrate each other. All our failures and our successes, every F and every A, every late night and every early morning, because without them, this day would not exist. Celebrate this day not as a triumph for one, but a triumph for all. Let us remember our 4 years as a journey. We all started out as wanderers, unsure of where this path would lead us, but we forged our way together. Each of you has had an impact on my life, whether directly or indirectly. You've all nudged me in the right direction. In fact, we've all pushed and shoved each other into these seats in this wonderful auditorium on this day. But these gentle nudges were nothing without the guidance provided by our teachers. They spent 4 years grooming us, replacing our childish notions about the world with adult sensibilities. They've given us our history, our mathematics, our sciences, our language, our literature, our psychology, our health, our film, and our theater. And in doing this, they've given us our futures. The lessons we've learned from them stretch far beyond the walls of any classroom. They've become a part of who we are, how we think, and what we will become. They've given us an education, a precious gift that too many take for granted. And they gave it graciously, without asking for much in return. But this is the one thing we can give them back. We are proof that their efforts have not been in vain. We are proof of their hard work, and for this, I thank them. Who have been the light that has guided us through our journey, we owe them more than words can describe. They've taught us to hold our heads high, to swallow our pride, and to never give up. We are the product of their dreams, of their biggest hopes and their loftiest desires, and this day marks just one acknowledgement of that dream. We are every memory of homework assignments, school lunches, broken down buses, rainy days, long treks from building A to J, standardized tests, pop quizzes, after-school clubs, young romances, draining rehearsals, big shows with even bigger applause, student films, screenplays, AP tests, and attendance records. We are G-Star. small charter school, and we've got our diploma to show for it. So when we all look back on our high school experience years down the road, we should remember it as it was. Don't forget any moment. Don't forget any word or experience. Don't forget who you were before you went to G-Star, because there's no turning back from who you are today. Among us are award-winning filmmakers, actors, playwrights, entrepreneurs, academics, scientists, and rising stars. Remember these faces, for they are your high school experience, whether you like it or not. We've suffered through the catastrophe that is high school, and we've become better, stronger people. So now we turn ourselves to a school with much bigger hallways, whose lessons aren't found in any curriculum, and whose grades will never be posted on Edline. As we throw ourselves into the world's classroom, we must always remember the lessons taught us here. There's no telling who we'll be in a few years, but we should never forget who we are. This, above all else, to thine own self be true. These words are kept in my favorite teacher's person at all times, so I leave you with this. Class of 2012, always be true to yourself and never forget what this school has made us. Thank you.
Opportunity to express my delight in knowing this year's valedictorian during the last 4 years, and to share with you some of my pleasure in knowing such an exceptional student. Amazing. Just one of the words I use to describe Kaylee Stokes. Amazing. Amazing as a student, amazing to work with her as she served as Vice President and then President of the National Honor Society, where she coordinated and participated in many activities we worked on over the last 2 years. When I think about Kaylee, I see a happy, smiling student bouncing down the hall, full of ideas and caring and enthusiasm, wanting to be the best and to help wherever she can, and never complaining, no matter how much work was required or how much we asked, especially me, that she could do. She is an inspiration to me and to all those around her. In fact, yesterday, this is really true, I did say this, I told her that I hope that one day she might decide to be president. I told her that we need people like her, a born leader, caring, honest, intelligent person, someone that can get things done, no matter what, and someone who really wants to make a difference. And now it's with great pleasure that I introduce Kaylee Stokes.
Well, no plans to be president, but thank you, Ms. Porter. Congratulations, guys. We did it. We survived McClory's Film 1 class. We've memorized countless monologues. We've juried in front of our classmates and sweated over finals. We've written our share of Lamol essays and have learned to run efficiently, or at least fake being awake on 2 hours of sleep. And we've figured out the maximum number of times we can snooze our alarms and still get to school on time. We've made mistakes, we've made friends, and we've made memories. And now, well, now we get to walk across this stage and get a piece of paper that says we did it. Over the past 4 years, most of us have become fairly close, though the size of our hallways didn't exactly grant us an option. Many things have changed since we first walked down these corridors in J Building 4 years ago. Many of us had different color hair. Most of us had a different style, and if the following freshman classes have been indicative of anything, at least a few of us smelled. It isn't just us that changed, though. Our school has grown along with us. When we first walked down those halls, the black box was still black, Mr. Alkaby was still a teacher, and our school's student body was a fraction of the size. When we first walked down those halls, Bush was still our president, Michael Jackson was still alive, and no one had ever heard of Instagram. One thing has remained constant in these past 4 years, though, and that is the support and commitment of our teachers and administration. I would like to thank Ms. Collins for caring so much about each and every one of us. I would like to thank Mr. Anderpont for keeping us all on the right track, knowing when to have a firm hand and when to be understanding, and for being such a snappy dresser. I would like to thank Mr. Alkaby for teaching his classes with a sense of humor and always making it clear that we could come to him about anything. I think his psychology classes have finally forgiven him for leaving us. Mr. Lamole, I thank you for making such a long commute to teach us here at this fine academy. And for explicitly describing the differences to us all between sarcasm and verbal irony. Ms. Verb, I thank you for always being there to answer any college, test prep, or alien-related questions we had. To the entire film department, I thank you for providing a home for anyone who came looking, for teaching us to look through a lens, and for ruining the experience of simply watching a movie without thinking we're Roger Ebert. To the entire acting department, thank you for putting on some of the most outstanding shows over the past 4 years. You've made us laugh, you've made us cry, and you've made us film kids wish we had taken an acting class. Of course, every one of our teachers deserves to be thanked individually, and I wish I could, but I believe a few of you have already started yawning. And so, I will now move on to the inspirational part of my speech, where I explain how this is just the beginning for us, and that the future is ours. But first, on behalf of my entire senior class, I would like to thank all of the parents and guardians out there for their unconditional love and support. Without you guys, surely we would not be a group of such good-looking and promising young adults. As George Bernard Shaw said, life isn't about finding yourself, life is about creating yourself. I find this more true than ever as I stand up here speaking to a class comprised mainly of artists. Over the past 4 years, we have learned to be creators. The actors and actresses have taken on a spectrum of roles, and the film kids have told countless stories. But now comes the task of creating ourselves, and the doors are wide open. The actors and actresses must take on the role of who they wish to be, and the film kids must create a life that they wouldn't mind watching over again. We must not be afraid of making mistakes. Sometimes in life, as an improv, the best moments are unplanned. Our fate is not predetermined. Our fate is decided by us, by our decisions and our actions. Don't let this frighten you. Let this excite you, because this is our time, and the script has not yet been written. Congratulations, class of 2012.
The next 3 awards were created for students that epitomize the characteristics of a G-STAR student. This student must demonstrate character, courage, decency, honesty, self-discipline, loyalty, Kaizen, persistence, and be a net player. The student for the Collins Academic Award this year is Catherine Barnett. Catherine, join me while I tell everybody why your teachers and administration chose you for this award. Catherine is a very talented artist, filmmaker, and sculptor. I've had the pleasure of working with Catherine, and she's definitely a breath of fresh air. She is articulate and kind and carries a sense of maturity and sensibility with her. I'm going to tell her a story about at Pathfinder. When we're sitting at Pathfinder, each of us take students to a certain area. We stand there while they're going in and going to be interviewed by 3 people, which is very nerve-wracking. So I was with Catherine and I kept saying, okay, when you go in there, they're going to probably ask you this, and oh, let me see your sculpture on how you're going to hold that. And she's like, Mrs. Collins, I have this. And she's right, she does. So I wanted to thank Catherine for being a role model and an inspiration, and I'm very proud to present you with the Collins Academic Award.
The Wilson Plum Award is presented to the student who has demonstrated the traits that G-Star values and who has exemplified what it is to be a filmmaker and an artist. This year's recipient is possessed of an impressive intellect, a dry, I should say arid wit, a sense of humor that confounds some, confuses others, but intellectual equals find it truly hilarious. This artist's works are smart, they're beautiful, they're technically polished, they exemplify intellect, sophisticated technical skills, and a remarkable aesthetic sensibility. They make us all proud to say that they were created by a G-Star artist. Even when this filmmaker's works are theatrically released and you can dial them up on Netflix or you can go down to your local theater and watch the works, I will continue to go back to the works that were created at G-Star, the student films, to use them as examples of excellence for future G-Star filmmakers. And it's my sincere pleasure to present the Plum Award to Drew Perlman.
I'm Mr. Stabile, and I am here to present the Bauer Award for Outstanding Achievement in Theatrical Arts. So, the Bauer Award for Theatrical, whatever I said, it was created to recognize a graduating senior who demonstrates the qualities and characteristics necessary for success in theatrical arts. The problem is we don't really know how to define the characteristics necessary for success in theatrical arts. And that's because it really depends on what your definition of success is. So I had to ask myself, what are we striving to do in theater and in the arts in general? And the only answer that has ever made any sense to me is that we are attempting to record and relate what it is to be human, and to share the experiences of ourselves and our fellow human beings, and hope that those experiences illuminate the path to what will eventually become a better world. And that's all very lofty and non-specific, and you're very confused. So I'll tell you the two questions that I get asked the most after a show. And the first one is, how do you learn all the lines? And the second is, how do you guys do this? So the show that you come to see on any given night begins months beforehand, with pre-production meetings, auditions, callbacks, set and prop construction, rehearsals, costume fittings, rehearsals, publicity drives, rehearsals. And then finally, on opening night, thousands upon thousands of hours of work are transformed into 2 hours of magic and wonder, which then quickly fade away into memory. And so my question has always been not how do we do it, but why the hell do we do things? And that answer is very easy. For some of us, there is no other choice. Once we are introduced to this art form, we fall in love, and in true love. And true love means being able to sacrifice of yourself with no expectation of return. And we immediately know in that moment that there is no other path our life can take. And that is the story of the recipient of this year's Bauer Award. Sorry. When Nia Benjamin entered my class 4 years ago, I knew that there was something special about her. She was an exemplary student. She was dedicated, humble, and as you heard earlier, eager to take in whatever knowledge was afforded her and offer thanks immediately. This award in particular is not in recognition of her many accomplishments, which you also heard listed earlier. It is instead a recognition for all the moments that have gone without awards or accolades. The sleepless nights creating programs for One Acts, the weekends spent volunteering for her classmates and outside productions, and the seemingly endless amount of dedication and tireless effort with the expectation of nothing in return. There are a million stories that I could tell about ways that Nia has bettered the lives of those around her, but we can't be here all night. They have some bowling to do. So I would like to share this one story. It was a rough day, a rough G-Star day. I had been here way too long the night before for rehearsal, and I was here way too early the next morning for class. And if you had approached me that morning, it would have been pretty much impossible for you to remind me of that all this effort was somehow worth it. Especially since it was for nothing more than memories. So that day in Acting 4, we had scheduled a day of interviews where we tried to find material for personal projects. And one of Nia's classmates asked her, "Why do you do this? Why do you love this so much?" And she looked around the room and she said, "Because you are all beautiful people, and I want to make sure that everyone hears your stories." And there it was. In one simple answer, a 17-year-old girl reminded me why I do this. So Nia has promised and threatened to stay in the black box forever. And we would all like that very much. But we all know that the world needs Nia much more than G-Star does at this point. So, on behalf of the acting department, it is my privilege and honor to present the Bauer Award to Balal D, Popra, and my soon-to-be goddaughter, Nia Benjamin.
There is one more award. It's called the Founders Award, and since I'm the founder, I get to give it. It's a bit of an unusual award. Actually, it could be called the Courage Award. Many years ago, everybody gets awards. You know, these guys will have their own award. And I wanted to give one out. So I started thinking about what was really important to me. You know, the school's important, the students are important, the parents, the whole family's important, the teachers, everybody. But I actually started thinking about what quality to me meant a lot. And the one that seemed to course through the veins of everybody throughout the school. And it seemed to me that it just took a lot of courage. It took a lot of courage for the students to get up in the morning, to come to school. It took a lot of courage to study. It took a lot of courage from all of you to be sitting here, to put 4 years of your life into graduating and going on. It takes a lot of courage to leave here tonight. The teachers, it takes a lot of courage for them to go through their entire academic life. It took a lot of courage for them to consider coming to G-Star. We're a charter school. It's a different kind of school. It's not the norm. It takes courage to step out and do something a bit different. It certainly takes a lot of courage in the administration. Put up with me, I think, is the hardest part. That takes a lot of courage. So it seemed to me that the award that I would like to give, and have been giving for a number of years now, is one for courage. It's a strange award in the sense that it's difficult to talk about. If I told you why this student earned it, I would be betraying their most personal lives, and I cannot do that. So I cannot tell you why they earned this award. It is an award unlike the others in that the kids tonight did not know they were getting these awards until just now. I sat down with this student and I told him several days ago that he was winning this award, and I would like him, as I have every year, to stand up and talk a little bit about anything that is on their mind. The students in the past years can come up, one I think came up and just said thanks a lot and walked off. That was fine. That others go into a lot of detail. I really don't know what they're going to say when they receive this award. It's just something that I'm just so very proud of to give. Now, it's become a collaborative effort. I send out an email to everybody and ask them for their, who would you nominate and why. And it's interesting because the teachers will come back with pieces of their lives that those teachers have been involved in and say this person has overcome this tremendous obstacle and this person has overcome that tremendous obstacle, and they're doing these things. And the comments that I received that I can tell you about from everybody, by the way, this was a unanimous vote. It just came through everybody naming this person over and over again. That he's always there. He always shows up. He always helps everyone. He's the first one to show up. He's the last one to leave. He'll go to events and things to help and not even have a way to get home. Apparently he doesn't work on his transportation issues. But he's somebody you can always count on. And then, of course, they give me bits and pieces of his life and things that he's had to overcome, which I cannot talk about. So, without further ado, I want to introduce to you the winner of the Founders Award, the Award for Courage, Mr. Wally Amy.
Yeah, what he said was true. I went to places without rides, and because it meant a lot to me. You know, when I first came to G-Star, I wasn't a film guy, but you know, over time, you know, Mr. McClory, Mr. Plum, Mr. Carmine, and all the the film teachers, they got me into film, so I started falling in love with it. And so, you know, once you start falling in love with something, you're going to want to keep doing it without anything in return. You're going to, you know, you got to do it like you want to breathe. You got to do it like it's your air. So anything that, well, you're probably not going to remember anything I'm saying right now, but remember this. It's a quote from the song. As we go on, we remember all the times we got together, and as our lives change, or whatever, we'll still be friends forever.
Award, Digital Video, and Art Scores. Caroline Dennis, G-Star Legacy Award, Art Scores. Jose Alapon, Art Scores. Jonathan Alcey, Art Scores. Leona Ali, Art Scores. Rachel Alkaby, Art Scores. Triana Arguedas, Art Scores, 3.5 average gold card. Raleigh Ami, Subject Area Award, Digital Video, and Art Scores. Caroline Dennis, G-Star Legacy Award, Art Scores. Jose Alapon, Art Scores. Jonathan Alcey, Art Scores. Leona Ali, Art Scores. Rachel Alkaby, Art Scores. Triana Arguedas, Art Scores, 3.5 average gold card. Brianna All, Top 10, National Honor Society, Art Scores, 3.5 average and above gold card. Victoria Ward, Art Scores. Catherine Barnett, Top 10, National Honor Society, Art Scores, 3.5 and above average. Jessica Barrios G-Star Legacy Award Academic Scores. Rachel Becker G-Star Legacy Award Academic Scores 3.5 and above average. Daniel Belcher G-Star Legacy Award and Academic Scores. Savannah Benefield, National Honor Society G-Star Legacy Award, Academic Scores of 3.5 and above average. Nia Benjamin, Valedictorian, Top 10, National Honor Society, Subject Area Award, Spanish G-Star Legacy Award, Academic Scores 3.5 and above average. Zach Burns, Academic Scores. Sarah Ann Blackwell, G-Star Legacy Award, Academic Scores. Charlene Blanco, Academic Scores. Rebecca Brown, Academic Scores. Anir Burke, Academic Scores. Roderick Mercy, Academic Scores. Amanda Caldwell, Subject Area Award, English, Academic Scores. Jennifer Carrick, Academic Scores. Vincent Soretta, National Honor Society G-Star Legacy Award, Academic Scores 3.5 and above average. Sean Chapman, G-Star Legacy Award, Academic Scores. Adriana Shirasso, National Honor Society, Academic Scores 3.5 and above average. Jamie Cherry, Academic Scores. Angelica Giovanella, G-Star Legacy Award, Academic Scores. Michael Galore, G-Star Legacy Award, Academic Scores. Michelle Garici, Academic Scores. Zachary Kobe, Academic Scores. Shanice Cruz, Academic Scores. Alejandra Cueva, National Honor Society, Academic Scores 3.5 gold card. Kareem Nakan, National Honor Society Subject Area Award for Film G-Star Legacy Award, Academic Scores 3.5 gold card. Anthony DeRosa, Academic Scores 3.5 gold card.
Brittany Davis, top 10 National Honor Society Subject Area Award for Mathematics, G-Star Legacy Award, Academic Scores, Gold Card 3.5 GPA. Cynthia DeRosa, Academic Scores.
I'm sorry, I can't hear you like that on set.
Donald Deo, G-Star Legacy Award, Academic Score. Brianna Diaby, Academic Score. Christian Dooley, National Honor Society, Academic Scores, 3.5 gold card. Rebecca Duarte, Academic Score.
Jonathan Fletcher. Academic score, 3.5 above, gold score. Jessica Ford. Academic score, 3.5 above, gold score. Tyler Gettner. Academic score. Rachel Gonzalez. G-Star Legacy Award. Academic score. Rodrigo Gonzalez Suarez. G-Star Legacy Award. Academic scores. Ian Brandon. National Honor Society. G-Star Legacy Award. Academic scores. Angel Grant. G-Star Legacy Award. Academic scores. Tripp Gracie. Academic scores. Courtney Green. Academic scores. Denise Grimm. Academic scores. 3.5 above GPA gold. Scores. Haley Hess. G-Star Legacy Award, Academic Scores. Ashley Hudak. Academic Scores. Megan Hurd. G-Star Legacy Award, Academic Scores. Jacqueline Jens. G-Star Legacy Award, Academic Scores. Andrew Irizarry. G-Star Legacy Award, Academic Scores. Shailene Baptiste. National Honor Society, G-Star Legacy Award, Academic Scores. Brian Jenkins. Matthew Birmingham. National Honor Society, Academic Awards. Sierra Jones. Academic Scores, 45 and above GPA, gold. Majedis Julius. Ryan Kennedy. Academic Scores. Paige Kesselman. National Honor Society, Academic Scores, 3.5 and above GPA, gold. Jamie Quaker. Top 10, National Honor Society, Subject Area Award, Science, Academic Scores, 3.5 and above GPA, gold. Julia Trent. G-Star Legacy Award, Academic Scores. Jeremy Lacey. Academic Scores. Jake Lennon. National Honor Society, Academic Scores, 3.5 and above GPA, gold. Alec Liggins. G-Star Legacy Award, Academic Scores. Sarah Lightbound. Academic Scores. Courtney Lillard. Academic Scores, 3.5 and above. Heather Long. Academic Scores, 3.5 and above GPA, gold scores. Angel Lopez. Adam Lauer.
Leonardo Marchesani, G-Star Legacy Award, Academic Score. Brandon Martyr, National Honor Society, Subject Area Student Government, 3.5 and above GPA Gold Award. Marlon Morero, G-Star Legacy Award, Academic Score. Michelle Martin, Top 10, National Honor Society, Subject Award French, Subject Award Social Science. Academic score, 3.5 GPA Gold Award. Julian Martinez, academic score. Caitlin McField, academic score. Tara Murphy, G-Star Legacy Award, academic score. Jordan Nathanson, National Honor Society, academic scores. Manuel Nunez, G-Star Legacy Award, academic scores. Jessica O'Grady, Top 10, National Honor Society, academic scores, 3.5 GPA and above Gold Award. Alexander Owens, academic scores. Faith Page, G-Star Legacy Award, academic scores. Nicholas Peretta, G-Star Legacy Award, academic score. Gabriel Perez, academic scores. Gabriel Perez, National Honor Society, academic scores. Drew Perlmutter, Top 10, National Honor Society, academic scores, 3.5 GPA and above gold. Mary Jane Perrin, academic scores. Jasenia Petrie, National Honor Society, academic scores. Claire Plummer, academic scores. Austin Prairie, academic scores. 3.5 GPA Gold Award. Anne-Marie Preston, academic scores. Pili Puertas. Andres Ramirez, academic scores. Monica Ramatoska, National Honor Society, Subject Area Award, Acting, G-Star Legacy Award, academic score, 3.5 GPA Gold Award. Kimberly Ria, academic score. Jose Rincon, National Honor Society, G-Star Legacy Award, academic score, 3.5 GPA Gold Award. Robert Rizal, G-Star Legacy Award, Academic Score. Michael Rodriguez, Academic Score. Iris Romero, G-Star Legacy Award, 3.5 GPA Gold Award. Alana Rothman, National Honor Society, Academic Score, 3.5 GPA Gold Award. Jessica Rusnak, Academic Score. Claudia Reiniak, Academic Score. Sarah Ann Sheldon, G-Star Legacy Award, Academic Score. Lee Shelna, Academic Score. Connor Shepard, National Honor Society, Academic Scores, 3.5 GPA Gold Award. Christopher Short Hamifka, G-Star Legacy Award, Academic Score, Gold Award, 3.5 GPA. Ernesto Sierra, G-Star Legacy Award, Academic Scores. Keandra Smith, National Honor Society, Academic Scores. Cannon Summons, Academic Scores. Jordan Spencer, Subject Area Award. Haley Stokes, Victoria, National Honor Society, Subject Area Award, G-Star Legacy Award, Academic Award, and 3.5 GPA Award. Anna Streetman, Academic Award. Jared Strickland, G-Star Legacy Suarez, G-Star Legacy Award, Deanna Sullivan, G-Star Academic Award. Lawrence Tardy. Harry Timo. Joshua Pinkerton. Joshua Tucci, National Honor Society, Gold Award, 3.5 GPA. Matthew Van Fleet, G-Star Legacy Award, Dean Violette, G-Star Legacy Award, Amy Casado, G-Star Legacy Award, Maya Vizcaino, Academic Score. Crystal Lowe, Elena Walton, Sierra Washington, Top 10, National Honor Society, Academic Award, and GPA equal higher. Vanessa White, Legacy Award, Academic Score, and
guardians, and family, and all of you that have supported the young people in front of us, our young adults who are embarking on their career of life. Thank you to their educators that supported them and actually who helped them sit here today and earn their diplomas. So it is with pride that G-Star School of the Arts, the class of 2012, has satisfactorily completed all requirements of law and standards for high school graduation as prescribed by the State Board of Education. Seniors, you may stand. Thank you all for an exceptional class and an exceptional evening.
Forever be a young man.
What could I say? Most notable, Gabriel and Gabriela Perez.